I don't support Mr. Odinga's bid for a number of reasons, and I've already stated that in different fora. Number one, because his bid is an attempt to use the AU position to exile him from local politics so that this administration may get the support of his constituency. That is not a reason why you give somebody a seat that requires young and vibrant individuals. Mr. Odinga is going to be 80 in the month of January. Really, at age 80, one should be writing his memoirs, not competing with younger people for holding an office, which is a secretariat's office. So, and even the manner and style in which she has campaigned is inconsistent with what the spirit of the AU is. There have been people who have held that office, they did not campaign in that manner. President Connery did not campaign in that manner. He was the first. Jean Ping of Gabon did not campaign in the manner that he is. Nkosazana and Lamini Zuma did not campaign in that manner. Mohamed Faki did not campaign in that manner. My own view is that Kenyans and other Kenyans, the Kenyan government may support him, but I believe that he is not my candidate.
He's not your candidate.
He's not my candidate.
I think maybe the other Kenyans who
of course, there are other Kenyans in matters such as these. There are others, those who support you and others who don't support you, but I've given my reasons, and one does not need to agree with me.
Yeah? Hey, Mahamoud Ali Youssouf Ali ndio mwenyekiti mpya wa ANC gani? Sasa ona hii maneno hii. Unajua tamaa ni kitu mbaya sana. Kama baba angetulia tu, aache huyu jamaa afanye tu all blanga zake zote. Pesa ni baba mpana ni mingi. Yenye angesema tu mimi hata sina haja na pesa. Jamaa wanamcheza. Because mimi nilisema jana ya kwamba uliona wale wasadik walitoa position. Mimi ni member wa committee nyingine inaitwa regional integration. And mimi naelewa maneno ya integration. Ya kwamba kama sisi EACC iko under sisi. Alikuwa ameanza na hawa EACC yani East African Community ambayo Djibouti is not a member. I convince Uganda, Kenya na hizi ambiane nzeva na tuandike statement because huyo ndio mwenye akukatika eneo letu peke yake. Unaona? Anaconvince bara kuna nimewambia asubuhi ambiasi congratulations baba wins congratulations for winning kwa X na mjafanya ile strategic move ya kufanya. Sasa baba akitoka huko tumesema kwamba we don't want Kenya is now, we are starting a new Kenya. And he should now retire, we will respect him as our elder. But mambo na siasa kupanga nchi ya Kenya, because Kenya is more important than that mambo ya ANC or whatever, something of the sort there. So tunataka wakati aturudi, tutakuwa tunamtembelea huko, lakini mambo ya siasa ya Kenya na siasa ya kusema ati mambo sijui nini, achane nayo. Achane nayo. Kwa sababu vijana waliambia baba wachana wacha deal na government na hata ingia nda. Sasa vijana ni unaona wana celebrate, they are celebrating for his fall. Sasa wale watu ambao wako karibu na yeye tunawasamea, lakini sasa kitoka huko asiongee mambo ya siasa kwa elder na endelee. Na sisi tunataka a new Kenyans, tutaangalia mambo ya 2027 sasa achiwa Kenya wenyewe wajiamulie. Mambo haya yanakuja huko kupanga Kenya hakuna. Hiyo tumesema hatutaki. So we wish him all the best as a Kenyan, but the cry of those young people ambao wamekuwa pale wakilia machozi.
Kwa majina naitwa David Elito. Mimi ningependa tu Raila anguke arudi nyumbani. Akuje atetee wa Kenya. Ile kazi tulikupatia possession hujamaliza. EU chairman si umeendea nini huko Raila? Raila wewe si yule Raila wa kitambo. Raila umegeuka, wewe ni msaliti kwanza. Ulishindwa uchaguzi, sasa hivi unatembea na president. Unafanya nini na yeye? Sasa hivi wananchi tu wanakufa njaa. abduction ziko juu. Si urudi Kenya utufanyie kazi. Mimi siwezi itaka Raila ashide. Na Raila anaongozwa tu na tumbo yake sasa. Akiona pesa anaanza kupanguza tumacho hapo.
Kwa hivyo wewe hutaki ashinde kabisa kama kinyume na wenzako?
Arudi home, akuje amalizie ile kazi aliacha ya opposition, atutetee sisi kama Wakenya. Juzi wa Kenya tunaenda kujitetea, tunakujiwa usiku. So wewe Raila kuja saidia Legathi na wale wengine kina Kalonzo, Kenya iendelee.
Yaani kuwa Mkenya ni furaha tu. Imagine wakati watu wengine wanaombea candidate wao wapite, Wakenya wako busy kuombea candidate wao aanguke, waweze kucelebrate. Wow, I just love my country. We were created different.
Bunge, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BAV. This is Bunge Audio Visual. So, you've watched the videos and I think it's good if you get to discuss about whatever happened to our opposition leader, that is like Raila Odinga, a few days ago after he lost the AUC, that's the African Union Commission elections. And the reason as to why I actually came up with this particular episode is because I would like us to give us, I'd like to give a breakdown or rather a glimpse of what actually transpired and some of the main reasons or rather the main factors that were overlooked but ultimately led to Raila Odinga's defeat in the AUC elections. So I'm going to talk about the regional politics. So this I'm just going to give you quite a number of factors that actually led, that actually contributed greatly towards Raila's defeat in the AUC elections. So by begin, factor number one was the regional politics and the Francophone influence. So you need to understand that most of the countries that actually made the Djibouti candidate to be able to be victorious in that kind of election is because the AU has historically been influenced by Francophone countries. And when I talk about the Francophone countries, I'm trying to mean the countries that actually, these are countries that are where French is actually an official language. You get countries, these countries include those in Africa and those mostly in West Africa and a bit in Central Africa. And example of some of the example of the countries I'm talking about include Guinea. We've got also Cameroon, we've got Togo, we've got Senegal, we've got Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, and so many other countries. I don't want to mention majority of them. And you also need to understand that majority of the countries that I've just mentioned actually fall under the categories, the trading bloc of ECOWAS, that is the Economic Community of West African States. Remember, Kenya only falls in the East African community. You get? Yeah, and COMESA. But for countries that fall under the Economic Community of West African States, that is ECOWAS, they actually had to gang up and vote as a bloc to ensure that their favorite, their preferred candidate was actually the one who was supposed to carry the day. Because you are also able to see Raila Odinga was able to garner quite a number of votes in the first and second round, but ultimately alikuja akatupwa nje ya race. And I've said the first reason is the regional politics and the Francophone influence. So it means that majority of the countries, of the Francophone countries actually voted in support of the Djibouti candidate. Then number two, we also need to ensure to remember that there was some sort of split, the East African community split and Rwanda strategy, because the East African community was expected to back Raila, but it reached some point Rwanda fielded its own candidate. Earlier on, there is a candidate by the name Donald Kabureka. So this idea of splitting the regional vote actually weakened Raila's chance of winning significantly, because it could have reached a point if I told Raila was the only candidate who had emerged from the East African community. It means that Rwanda's vote could actually be on Raila's side. But it's so unfortunate that Rwanda's vote never actually counted. We've got also a guy like Samia Suluhu. Samia Suluhu is the president of Tanzania. Samia Suluhu at some point seemed to be falling out with, when it comes to matters concerning Raila's support in the AUC chairmanship. Yeah, that is reason number two. We've talked about the regional politics of Francophone. We've also talked about the East African community split and Rwanda strategy. Then number three, you also need to remember that there was weak support from Kenya's government. You need to understand, we saw Ruto trying to take some of the CS like Musalia Mudavadi to Ethiopia, the prime cabinet secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi to Ethiopia. We also able to see a number of other political figures like Baraza from Kakamega County, that is the government of Kakamega County. We were also able to see some of the dads of Baba also taken to Ethiopia to ensure that they actually helped Baba in terms of campaigning for him. But the kind of campaign that was conducted in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, wasn't as expected. Because while President Ruto actually backed Raila publicly, there were concerns that Kenya didn't lobby strongly enough for his bid. And some believe that the internal Kenyan politics may have affected the level of commitment that the government of Kenya had towards supporting their candidate, that is Raila Odinga, in securing that AUC position. Then you've got also what we call some of the continental alliances, whereby Raila was viewed as a strong Pan-Africanist, but some countries may have seemed to see him as too politically aligned with certain blocs, making the Djibouti candidate more favorable in that particular case. Then we've got timing and other geopolitical factors. You also need to understand that the AU elections often reflect a very, very broader geopolitical interest. And Rwanda's growing influence in Africa may have played a very, very big role in securing the top seat of this guy by the name. What's the name of this guy? That is the former Djibouti foreign minister. That is Mahamoud Ali Youssouf. He was actually the one who was elected as the new chairperson of the African Union Commission. That is on February 15th to 25. And one thing you also need to know is that Youssouf actually secured the position after 7 rounds of voting, ultimately obtaining 33 votes. You get? So it means that he's actually going to serve for a 4-year term, succeeding the former AUC chairman, that is Musa Faki of Chad, who has held the post since 2017. So you also need to ensure that you also need to know one thing, that in the election that happened recently, at some point Youssouf faced a competition from Raila Odinga, but Richard Randiamene, that's the ex-foreign minister of Madagascar, who was also among the contenders of that particular position, actually had to pull out since he was eliminated he was eliminated in the 3rd round. Meaning, some of his supporters actually decided to go towards the Djibouti prime minister, the Djibouti's former foreign minister at some point. So it means that Youssouf took the advantage of that particular situation. I don't know how they managed to get the votes that were from this guy, but this foreign minister of Madagascar. What's the name of this guy? That Richard what's the name? Is it Randriamandrato? Who was the who was the ex-foreign minister of Madagascar. So it means that some of the votes that were earlier on from his side were able to be directed towards Djibouti's the name of this guy, Youssouf, Mahamoud Ali Youssouf's side, and that is actually is the reason behind and that's what led to Raila's defeat ultimately. So I don't know what's your take, because tomorrow quite a number of reactions. Most of the people want to try to explain to more about Raila's defeat. And if I just go through one of the first video, we was able to see a guy by the name Steve Mbogo predicting Raila Odinga's AU defeat. Like the same card they played is the same card they played in the AUC elections, is the same card they played back then with the former president, that is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, while trying to come up with the BBI, that's the Building Bridges Initiative, during Uhuru's era. Then you also saw the second video whereby Tony Mpole, the guy by the name Tony Mpole, was saying that his country is created in a very, very different way, and he was wondering why most of the Kenyans were actually rallying, were actually praying hard that Raila doesn't come out or rather emerges as a winner in that kind of election of the AUC chairmanship. While in the other countries, most of the countries actually supported their candidates. But it's so unfortunate that a country like Kenya, wasi wengi walikuwa wanataka sana msewa asipite, asikuable kufika to those, asikuable ku attain that kind of a position. Then we also saw another video by Peter Salasya, that is the member of parliament of Mumia Assist, alikuwa na react towards Baba's defeat, akisema that Baba alichezwa. Then at some point pia akasema it had matters to do with greed, because Baba at some point anakuanga so greedy. So Baba hakuwa na your choice that moment he made the choice of going for that kind of position, it means that he was up to something. He never wanted that position at first. So we've also seen PLO Lumumba, that is giving his own explanation, rather his own views on why Baba lost his elections and why he couldn't be able to support Baba, and he gave out reasons. And two of the reasons that he actually gave out was, number one, Baba used this particular chance of vying for that position to use they were actually trying to, Baba and the government were actually trying to use it as a tactic, or rather as a strategy to position to actually exile him from local politics. And by exiling him from local politics, it means that Baba in 2027 angekuwa able to participate in local politics, meaning it would have given William Samoei Ruto an upper hand of winning the re-elections come 2027. Then number two, he also said that the government also used that tactic to secure support from his own territory back at home. So it means that the reason as to why they forced Baba to go for this position is it wasn't to ensure that Baba was to serve as a chairman and or rather take full charge, or rather be responsible of what the AUC chairperson has to do. But their main goal was to ensure that they were able to control the local politics back in Kenya. Then we've also seen another video whereby there was a man who actually wanted to raise Raila Odinga to lose that position, AUC chairmanship, because Baba alikuwa na feel Baba ni kama hajafanyia more for this country. He was clearly saying that Baba needs to come back to Kenya and he needs to fight for the rights of the citizen, because only the reason as to why Baba anafaa kwenda EU, yet we need a strong opposition leader like him, because you know how the kind of politics Baba plays inakuanga very very instrumental towards shaping the future of this country. So he felt like Baba going to AU na shinde hiyo position is actually going to bring that will be the road to his political oblivion back in as far as Kenya's politics is concerned. That means 2027 most of the people are actually going to have so much trouble in when it comes to securing the votes of the local mwananchi, or rather the candidates that are going to emerge won't really have that full capacity to ensure that they won't be rigged out come the 2027 elections. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. I'll have to, for now, I think I'm just going to give you an what am I going to do? I'm going to give you a breakdown on what Miguna was trying to mean in his next in the next episode. I'm actually going to give you the reason as to why Miguna had to come up with that video that he made, and he gave more explanation as to why he hates Baba and why Baba was actually going to lose that the AUC elections. I think for now, I think I'll call it a day. In case of anything, just kindly comment section iko hapo chini, talk to me at the comment section hapo, share your opinion, share your views, like, subscribe, and for you to be able to get more updates. I think I'll call it an end of an episode.